were built like that just to allow the fresh air or winds to get inside of them easily, refrigerating most of the products from inside and keeping them fresh. Products that Incas were going to farm as products that they have already harvested. But at the same time, these buildings, they have these new thatch roofs. But not only these thatch roofs were restored here, even some of these walls, they were restored too.
Okay.
And then you're gonna realize about it by yourself once you will find why the squares are shop marks with letters and numbers written on them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That means that this section of the wall here, it was restored. As different than many other ones, where you are not going to find so many sign or symbol written on them, that means they are still original. 75% of this beautiful town is still original. When really because of its size, they are holding on. They are pressing most of the smaller rocks in the bottom and working like a new foundation for the rest of the structure all the way high up here. So if earthquakes should pass here, instead of falling down, these huge boulders will really absorb most of the force of them. So they knew the entrance to the first floor, and getting out from here, up the stairs behind of this wall, we have the entrance for the second one. We're actually right in here, that Incas used to do. It was to some rituals, or actually for them to sleep, especially for the Inca of the town. Notice it, the trapezoid shape we have on the shelves. Look at the door, has a trapezoid shape too. Even the windows or almost everything has a trapezoid shape.
Yeah,
What I mean is that actually this guy should have built everything straight, symmetry, because of the earthquakes they should have fall down. But actually they were built quite lean to inside. I mean the walls.
So they will bolt in trapezoids to
Yes.
prevent from
Earthquakes.
earthquakes? Oh.
So if earthquakes should pass here, instead of falling down, these huge or these walls are going to press more and more to inside, making them much stronger and resistant with the pass of the time.
Oh, excellent.
But what happened here? Look at here. Look at the gap. Look at here. From this angle you can see this. Yeah? Look at here.
What happened there? Earthquakes?
Yeah. Well, that really happened, my friends, is that actually not exactly earthquakes because these buildings were made anti-seismic.
Okay.
We're talking about it. But this is the result because of the water of the rains.
I see.
After Incas abandoned the town.
Okay.
If they should have stayed here, that never should have happened, ever. Because the big quantities of water.
Yeah.
And a protrusion on the lintel which has a hole in the middle to tie it up the door.
Oh, to tie the door.
Yes, so it was a real entrance to this important place. Not the broken wall that I have shown you before.
Yeah.
Please, please.
Like most of the structures in Machu Picchu, which year was it built? Was it like the 1500s?
1430s.
1430s?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But
Until 1595 when it was abandoned.
okay. But how would you determine if things were more recently built, like, you know, the more advanced ones, the ones for the locks?
Yeah. Most of this town was built, all of this at once.
At once?
But it was not finished as we'll see in the quarry.
Okay, okay.
Yes, and then some walls necessarily had to be restored because the top of them were more
Collapsed?
fragile. They collapsed
Okay.
because of the pass of the time, the
Right.
rainforest, the trees growing. Yeah, so
Really?
they realized that nature shaped the mountain into that angle. Yeah, with the angle of the mountain behind and the angle of the wall. Yeah. Now, if these rocks which are sticking out of the wall, as you can see them here, they were to tie it up, these very steep thatch roofs, to doesn't allow them to slide down. These other rocks with the holes they have, look, up and down. They were to doesn't allow the winds to blow them away, to take them off. So they knew perfectly. Is related with knowledge and respect, because I can shake your hand, I can touch your shoulder sometimes to point you something, to show you something, but I won't be touching your head because of respect. So not everybody used to go all the way up there before to stand up on the natural human face that comes from Pachamama, from nature, to stand up wherever they wanted. Some places need to keep respect. It was gonna be just the priest of the town and the Inca, and probably some advisors to help the Inca to digest the information. Because after the priest used to go all the way up there and observe the cosmos since higher, he was going to predict some really important things for his empire. But after all, he was not, even when he was an important person, he was not allowed to give all the information to the people of the town by down there. He was going to give all the information to the Inca of the town. The guy which was going to manage this information, to give just drops of information for people of his town which were going to be by down there. But why me? I can say those things as if I should have seen those things happening here if I was here never before. As archaeologist that I am, focused in this nice place for the last 7 years, I could find the easiest way to show you why. Please, let me bring you down there to show you. Look at high up here. Look at the human face that I have shown you before. If you'll observe, then you'll realize that it's just gone. It's not high up here anymore.
Yeah.
Because really, my friends, we need the angle that I told you before to stand up and see. We need to open our minds more than our eyes if we really want to. Because actually, right in the opposite side, where we have seen life, now we'll see death. Follow me here, please. We need to arrive almost to the same distance, but in the opposite side of life.
Oh.
Now to stand up here and turn around for you to see the profile. Look at the front, the flat nose, the deep mouth.
Oh, it's like a skull.
Like a skull.
So it's the same rock
Exactly.
that
but
looks
in the
alive
opposite
in one side and it looks dead in the other side.
side. Yes, my dear friend. So that's why this place was to keep respect.
Yeah.
So not everybody is to go as they really wanted all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
Some of these things that I could find makes me freaky sometimes.
That's really good.
That's a place where the Inca used to stand up and talk with technology. Is that actually the big flat field you can see down here? It just have never existed before Incas arrived, ever. It was really as deep as a V. So can you imagine all the quantity of material these guys had to move on here to make it as flat as possible?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. That's why I'm trying to show you Machu Picchu with most of the details as much as possible, for you to keep exploring later, walking around or going higher to the ground. To the right side of this, there is a couple of antennas in the profile of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the trail keeps going behind to the Inca bridge, taking 40 minutes as average to go and come back
We went there.
on the round trip. Oh, great! Now you know how the Inca trails looks like.
Yeah.
In very steep or close to the cliffs, where enemies were not going to arrive easily here, because they used to block them down. They used to break them down if enemies were coming. That's it, man.
So that Inca bridge was built by at the same time as Machu Picchu?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
even the logs that are
Right here.
there, I mean, is
Yeah.
that like renovated, restored?
The tree trunks you saw there
Yeah.
were set by Indian native people, but
Okay.
they're very old.
Okay.
That's why it's forbidden to pass.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
So at one point they actually used the bridge. They took the llamas, and you think,
Yeah,
or was it?
everything.
Or
Yes,
they
of
did.
course. Yes, they should pass as you walk around.
That's awesome.
If enemies were coming by the other side, Incas used to pull the tree trunks aside. So enemies were gonna be exposed in front, and Incas could attack them
Oh, wow.
from this other side. Where, as you could see, there is a huge rock,
Yeah.
like a wall.
Yes.
So, like using as a defense, they used to attack them in.
Oh wow, that's
I know
amazing.
is
huh?
that people have found small llama shapes here into the reproduction shape. If you will go into the museums,
Yeah.
you will find them. They look like this. The ear, the mouth is here. Here's the neck, and here comes the body like this,
Okay.
like this shape.
Yeah.
Many of them were found right on there.
Like you mean on stones?
Exactly.
Okay.
Made on the stones.
Okay,
or
small
ceramic
stones.
too.
A ceramic. Okay.
To be buried underground, always a couple of them representing duality for reproduction.
Ah.
Sometimes enveloped in fat, in llama fat.
Yeah, I'm a
As if
fan.
they should be giving them life. To be
Okay.
buried underground, as if they should be asking, as if they should be giving thanks to the Pachamama for everything they have taken during the last year, and as if they should be asking for more in the future.
Pachamama's the
Mother
puma.
Earth.
Oh, Mother Earth. Mother Earth. Right.
So
Right.
it was like a treatment between nature and humanity.
Okay, I see. I see. I see.
Where actually, if you will observe the area, then you're gonna realize that we saw a really big farming area.
Which
before,
is
by over there.
this one?
Look at the terraces.
The
over there.
terraces. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these llamas used to eat the grass here in these big flat areas
Yeah.
in front. But this place down here, it was more simple.
Okay.
It was a corral.
Corral. Oh, I see. Oh, just for all the llamas.
Exactly.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay. And now I
Look
see.
Look at the entrance over there. Just one intake and to get out too.
Yeah.
Just one entrance.
Yeah. It was a corral.
It was a corral.
Okay. What's here on the other side?
Like a hole.
Yeah. For what?
Yeah, they were found some offerings right in there.
Okay.
Look here. Perfectly lined.
So that's the equinox.
Yes, this small street is facing to the equinox.
Oh wow, really?
For some people, this street doesn't make sense because it goes to nothing. But
Yes.
Right.
we are not seeing that that Incas used to see.
When is the equinox?
Equinox, because it's the middle between
Right.
winter solstice and summer solstice.
Yeah. What date is that approximately?
Here is in the 22nd of October.
22nd of October.
Yes.
Okay.
And now look at this street where we are now. Even this street, look, it's facing Machu Picchu mountain. And look,
Oh wow.
Machu Picchu mountain.
Wow, really?
Wow, that's like perfect.
So that's Huayna Picchu,
Yes.
and that's the equinox,
Equinox.
and that's the Machu Picchu all the way up. Wow, that's really
Everything was
awesome.
lined. It's not a coincidence.
La danza del Huititi, la danza del amor.
Have you seen this figure? Look at me, like this.
Yes.
Is the Andean cross shape. And there is a short history that I have learned, thanks to a really nice friend that I have, which is a shaman. You know what does a shaman means? He has like a medicine man. There is like a short history that I have learned thanks to one of them. I asked him how that figure was related with our lives.
Yeah.
That he taught me as Fabricio, this is easy to understand. Easy to understand because once people born in a point of the life,
Yeah.
people are always going to grow up for being as an adult. But then, because this is a part of the life, a period of the time, people will begin to get old quickly and die.
Wow.
But don't worry about it, he taught me. Don't worry about it because in this transition of the life, in this period of time, Condor is going to help us, he taught me.
Condor.
Yes,
That's the bird, right?
yes.
Okay.
So Condor asked him which way. Yes, he taught me. Because at first, what we are going to do is to try to get most of dead bodies into the fetus position as Incas mummies. And into that fetus position, we'll carry them right into the temple of the Condor and inside of its niches. Where at the same time we'll make some animal sacrifices to expose the animal sacrifices for the Condor which you are going to smell, to see, and land off in a real way to take its offering, the sun. And then bring them back from that Hanak Pacha or upper world by this Kai Pacha or present world to carry them as last into the Uhu Pacha or the world underground.
So they believe that the human souls were taken by the condors to the sun.
Yes. So while I talk him, of course, and I just ask him, how does the condor was going to get into the Uhu Pacha, into the world underground? Yes, he taught me. Because as you know, Fabrizio, condors live into those great canyons, he taught me, and that's true. And once these huge birds were getting into those great canyons, was going to look like if they should be getting into the same Pachamama or Mother Earth to give those spirits back to the world and the ground. In that symbolic way, thanks to the great condor, this transition of the life was going to be complete. And just then, because most of people will be buried into the fetus position as babies, just right in the same fetus position as babies, our Pachamama, our Mother Earth, was going to send us back inside of a new woman to rebirth and continue with the cycle of the life. So Incas used to believe in reincarnation.
Okay.
This is why they used to be buried into the fetus position as babies.
Okay.
So they were not going to be an exception in front of many other ancient cultures around the world, as they were the Mayans, the Buddhists, the Aztecs, the Indians, the Tibetans, the Egyptians, and many, many other ones that used to believe in almost the same.
Right.
Almost the same.
Right.
Maybe not exactly in the same way, and maybe not exactly with the same elements, but really with the main idea, which was to rebirth, to come back here. Hundreds or thousands passing through this street too, then you're going to realize that nobody's going to see the next detail. Because I was observing this by heart, and because of the time that I have spent in here, I could find details. Incas used to build on the walls interesting codes they were going to decipherate while they were walking on the streets. If you will stand up here, then please turn around, facing here. Just look. Don't follow me. Don't follow me.
Oh,
Stay there.
stand there.
I will point you there.
Okay.
Llama shape in reproduction system shape. The mouth, the head, the ear, the neck,
Oh yeah.
and the body. Look, the chest is right on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's right on the wall.
Yeah.
So they used to walk the code in the walls. Figures, finding figures on them. That's about it. Since we got into Machu Picchu today, then we saw the first buildings, remember, made on rock, the storages.
Yeah.
Then we saw the terraces, houses, buildings, temples, almost everything till now was made on rock.
Yeah.
If these guys should have used a different kind of organic material instead of rock, as this should not be wood or clay or bamboo or tree trunks anyway, just wouldn't be here. No one person, no one soul should be walking here, and they knew perfectly about it at those times. In consequence, as a tribute, some of these rocks were considered sacred. As sacred can be called this rock here. That's the idea about it, this ritual area. Before the rain will keep coming hardly, please follow me over here.
This is the Sacred Plaza.
Yes, where we'll find the three more important kind of Inca building styles here. The first one, known as the pre-Inca or rustic style over here, with some mother clay to join rock between each other, as you can see. Different than the Inca's classic style over there. Just rocks by rocks too, but most of them irregular shaped like a beautiful puzzle. And both of them are different than the Inca's empire style here, when they have just rocks by rocks too, but most of them were regular shaped, rectangular shaped. It was for their temples. That's the reason of the altar at the bottom, and those beautiful shelves in higher locations than usual to keep inside of them gold idols, silver idols. It's known as the Uhu Pacha of the world underground, related with the snake, that according to the Indian thinking way, used to represent knowledge and fertility. Knowledge because it was in contact most of the time with the Pachamama, or Mother Earth, that means knowledge.
The snake.
Yep. And fertility because wherever it was going to get into the ground was going to fertilize the soil, that says.
Okay.
That's why even it was related with the river.
Okay.
With the sacred river. Which
Oh, the
is coming
serpent.
By
Okay.
the valley, but the valleys fertilizing the lands.
Okay. And that was the first step.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one is known as the Kai Pacha, where we are now, represented by the puma. That feline which was not going to fly or get into the ground, but here used to represent power and administration.
Okay.
That's why they have built Cusco, which was the capital of the empire, with a puma shape, with a puma figure.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Because
really?
since that Puma town, with power, these guys were going to administrate all the Incas Empire.
Okay.
Since Quito in Ecuador in the northeast part, till Maule River in the southeast,
Okay.
in Chile.
That second step is the puma.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the last one is the upper world, the last level, the Hanajpacha. And high up here we have the Hanajpacha, where we can find most of the stars. The main one, the sun, the moon, constellations or things like those are the universe, all of them high up here represented by the condor. And here in Machu Picchu, we'll have the opportunity to see the temple of the condor and how that was related with our lives according to the Anathican way. A condor that used to represent spirituality. In some books or even magazines, you will find the next information, where it says that when the sun rises by the east high up here and shines hitting on this rock,
right.
and because it has 3 levels as if there should be 3 steps in both sides, its shadow completes the Andean cross shape.
Oh, I see.
And according to this, they write pages and pages about it. It's interesting and nice,
Yeah.
but completely
False?
false.
Oh, really?
You know why? Because on this pole, we need to say that tree trunk, look, here all the way to, look at the cross beam. All
Oh,
the
yeah.
way till the other side for the roof of the building.
Okay.
And the simple question now is, if this building used to have a roof, in which way or how do you think that the sun was going to shine or hit on the roof?
Right.
No way. But where we can find sun here? Only in the river.
Ah.
And if you're thinking that it was a really hard work to feed off sand to all these terraces since down there to high up here, what would you think when I will tell you that thanks to technology, then we could realize, making comparisons, that the soil where we are standing on these terraces now is not only from here. It has brought since farther places, like close to the Sacred Valley and even since Cusco, in order to mix it up here, to make it possible to farm a variety kind of produce or crops. As I told you before, maize or corn, different varieties, potatoes and different varieties too, vegetables, fruits, even cereals as a kiwicha and quinoa, making from this town a self-sufficient one. They used to support on them as a huge kind of frame made of gold to capture the attention of the sun, for the sun to get into its temple exactly through those windows during each 21st of June and 22nd of December. Being as the main reason in why we can say that it was called as the Temple of the Sun. Something you must know, this is that actually that the word Inca, or really the real pronunciation, which is Enca, means the son of the sun. And this is why they should get him dressed with a lot of gold, in order to reflect, to look, to shine like his father, like the sun. And each piece of gold they could find here on earth, oh my God, was like a sacred remain of his father fertilizing the lands. So that was the symbolic value that gold had for them. Symbolic, not a monetary one, not an economical one. It was like a remain of his father in land.
Okay.
And after the most important people of Machu Picchu, as the representatives of the king that used to live in Cusco, died here, just for them at the bottom of the Temple of the Sun, they have built their royal funeral tomb. With some niches just because they were very few. Notice the white squares as chalk marks on these walls. Doesn't really have letters or numbers because these walls are still original. But they were made in order to see if these walls are still sinking, moving, separating, just in case. Come over here and look. Right down here we have now the condor head with its eyes and its beak. This white piece of rock really represents the white collar that condors have around its neck. And if here we have the condor's head, how about the rest of its body? Can you please give some meters back over there to the door side? Please go over there. Go to the door side over there. Because if that's a condor's head, here it comes a part of its body, and right behind of me, look, this huge boulder is one of the wings, and this is the other one.
Oh, I see. Wow.
As if this condor should be flying in front of you, facing to the east most of the time, because of respect to the principal Inca's goddess, which was the sun. Look at the huge boulder we have here. It's suspended. Looks like it should be going to fly around there.
Right. Wow.
So
Now-
this is the picture of the Temple of the Condor, and that was a short history we could share before.
Okay. So this is what? So this is the like the idol for the Temple of the Condors.
Yes.
Because this is the condor.
Exactly.
Okay, what's in there underground?
They were found some animals' bones burned by the Incas as an offering, as if they should be trying to give the offerings by complete to the temple of the Congas.
So is that like because even in the corral we saw the same thing, right? We saw something underground, and you
Yes.
said you found
Yes, like
animal.
offerings, more
So that's very common for the Incas.
Because they used to believe in mysticism
Okay.
and practice on it.
Okay.
This is, my dear friends, the first clear evidence in why we can say that Machu Picchu was not finished.
Okay.
Look at here. These guys were still carving on these rocks and making water channels.
Yeah.
But as you can notice it clearly, they were not very well joined between each other, not yet. Or even it doesn't have connections. So that means clearly that they were still working here, but it was not finished. Not yet, not at all.
So you're saying these people left it halfway because of the Spanish conquistors?
Yes, and the sickness, illness.
Oh, I see.
Once the Spaniards arrived to Cusco, those guys didn't bring with them only the new customs, the new religion. The worst part of their arrival, it was actually the new sickness and illness that they brought with them.
Right.
Just one simple sneeze was killing, unfortunately, a lot of Incas because these people didn't have defense for those new sickness. But in the same way, here in Machu Picchu, we are going to see that the Spaniards never stay here, even when they knew about it. And that really happened is that in the same way that Incas didn't have defense for the new sickness or illness, the Spaniards didn't have defense for the new mosquitoes bites. They would get on fever and die easily too. So it had to pass a long period of time before they adapt, before the mestizos will come. The mestizos is a new race between the Incas and the Spaniards.
Oh, I see.
And these people were able, or they didn't have too many troubles with the mosquitoes bites or with the
Diseases.
influenza or other diseases, for example. Which is really a pain now, is that this beautiful town, it was abandoned because of this reason, because those sickness came here too. So people began to die easily.
Stories, you know, they
And
came
after
to-
this, they had to, some of them took the necessary things they could with them on hand and ran away from here, getting into the jungle, spread in different directions, and in small groups of people to doesn't allow the Spaniard soldiers to find them easily into the jungle.
Okay.
Which is the reason why probably even nowadays, this is still possible to find people right in there which are still speaking Quechua language.
Okay, but
Same
and they
Incas
live in
model.
jungle.
Yes.
Okay.
But really, Spaniards wrote that it was going to be almost completely impossible to follow to the Incas into the jungle because they were going to be easily ambushed and killed into these landscapes. Well, that's true. Look, and there were very few Spaniards conquering a huge empire. So really, they didn't want to expose their life once they were conquering these places, this town in this case.